Welcome everyone. My name is Joyce Lee. Today we're going to talk about taking the leap, reinventing life at 25, 45, or 65. Is there a time when you are feeling stuck? Like some of my former psychotherapist clients, they will come to the office and they would tell me that they are stuck in a toxic relationship, or they are feeling stuck doing something unfulfilling. That's their career. And maybe they are too long being unemployed or underemployed. Or they are feeling stuck because they felt like they are in this endless treadmill, going back and forth, but without getting ahead. If you ever felt that way, today I hope to share my personal journey with you from feeling stuck to taking a giant leap forward. We'll cover what happened and how did this getting unfolded. So I'll tell you the ABCDEs of it all and what I've learned along the way, and I have a special message for you at the end. Now let's dive right in. What happened? I was 65 years old. Last year, I went through a major life pivot. I packed up 2 suitcases, left Toronto, Ontario, and flew to Vancouver, British Columbia. It's about a 5-hour flight, but mind you, I've been in Toronto for almost 40 years. Now, at the same time, during that move, I started a new job. After working in Toronto for 40 years, I have a new job in Vancouver. Yay! And finally, I can get to experience living in the West Coast. And I have been longing for having a West Coast lifestyle and heard about how great it is. Now, at the same time, also what happened was I continued my education. I was in the 4th year of my PhD program, and I continue. And right now, a few months later, I just completed my final dissertation draft, so I can see the end of the tunnel. So this is in a nutshell what had happened recently. Now, how did it happen? I'm going to unfold all the things in between that come to this point. So there are some turning points that led to this giant leap. And I will talk about it in this ABCDE framework so it's easier to follow. Now, before this all happened, I have this long-held dream. I call it, that's my A, the aspiration. I had this long-held dream when coming to Canada, when I immigrated from Hong Kong, was that I want to experience the West Coast lifestyle. The West Coast meaning the British Columbia, the Vancouver Rim, Pacific Rim. It has milder weather, it has the mountains, the oceans. It's beautiful there. But people told me, hey Joyce, you should go to Toronto because Vancouver, there's no jobs. So I took their words and I was stuck in Toronto for 40 years. Now, beyond traditional retirement, this is something that I cannot live with because I'm already 65. For most people, they said, okay, you should quit. You should just enjoy life. No more working. You are a senior citizen now. But it doesn't sound right to me. For those of you that know me, you know I wrote a book 12 years ago. It's called Reimagining Retirement because I never subscribed to the traditional, conventional model of retirement for all these reasons. I already talked about it there, so I'm not saying anything here in depth. However, my dream, my aspiration, whether I'm 65 or 85, it doesn't matter. I want to be fully immersed in community. I want to experience and juggle work-life balance. And I want to connect with nature. And why is that? Because I've been working multiple jobs. I raised a family at the same time. So never troubled me having too much on my plate. I actually welcome it because that's my personality as well. Now, if I work 5 days a week or 4 days a week and very busy juggling, hustling, working, and balancing life and work, And then I have 2 days off on the weekend to do something that I treasure, connect with family, leisure, and all that. That 2 days are very special. But on the flip side, if every day is like those 2 days, then what is special about the leisure and the connecting and the off time? So that's my pet peeve. I like to have that model of keeping busy and fully immersed into community and work and all that. That doesn't trouble me. But it may not work for everyone. But that was my dream. I have a long-held dream to live in the West Coast, and I like to keep working and reimagining my retirement by not retiring. And then the B side of this journey, the B is believe. After my last contract, I was 65 at that time. I finished a 2-year contract. It was originally a 6-month agile coach role, but the company renewed me for a few times. And then at the time last year in June, the company gracefully said goodbye and we parted ways because they are already self-sufficient and they want to run with their internal staff, so they no longer need a contractor, which is fine. Being a contractor, I expect that. However, that transition threw me off because I'm thinking, I'm 65 years old. How would people want to hire a senior citizen? And also, if I want to work in Vancouver, I will be applying like a out-of-town candidate. And who would even look at those resumes? I cannot even convince myself, but I do have that belief that, hey, I'm not done yet. So that's the inner voice telling me, I'm not done. I will never be done. As long as I can think, I can work, I can contribute. So I still believed in my values. I believe that I can contribute being an agile coach, being a senior consultant, being a project manager. And that belief kept me going. I sent out tons of resumes, I hustle, I connect with people. So that leads to my C. That's the commitment. Yes, you have an aspiration, you have that dream that you want to strive for, and you believe that this will happen, and then you commit yourself to do everything required to get you there. So I'm committed. I'm committed in job hunting. I send out applications. I hustle with past colleagues. I talk to headhunters. I do all that. And I also faced the unpleasant part of it. That's the dead silence. Like all your resume went to a big black hole. And after you send 20 applications, no reply. Maybe you have one polite reply saying that, yeah, we received your application. And by the way, that was sent by the application tracking system. It's not even a human. So all those silence really is not pleasant. And sometimes rejection. Sorry, we have better candidate to interview and we selected someone more appropriate than you. And no doubt that caused self-doubt. You wonder, with all my experience, with all that I think I can contribute, why people are not paying attention to me or my resume. Yes, that is all true. However, you have to plow through it. You have to persist. You have to commit and believing you can achieve that. And long and short of the story, after about 4 or 5 months, I found a suitable job in Vancouver. Now that leads to the fourth step, which is the D, the design. Now, between the job offer and how to get there, showing up to report to work and leading up to where I am now, I need to design a plan. And that plan needs to be flawless. I plan my work and work my plan. And that is just my second nature as a project manager. My instinct kicked in. I created a plan that said, okay, from this point to that point, this is what I need to do. So at that time, it was around June, July, August. However, even though you have the best laid plan, it doesn't mean that it's smooth and easy. I have mixed emotions because at the time, I was living with my mother for most of the week. I took a weekend off, but for most of the days, I stayed with my mom in her apartment. She's living alone. She was living alone, but she's getting more immobile and she's more fragile. And at the same time, on the same week I received my firm job offer, that was the same week that my mom received a call from the community health care that my mom, her long-term care bed is ready for her. And she's ready to move in. And if we say no, another applicant will move in and we'll lose our spot. And we have to wait for another few years. So with that mixed emotion, I have to decide, me and my family got together, my siblings, to decide, is mom ready to move to the long-term care? It was very difficult. Settling mom in her new home, saying goodbye to my children, my grandchildren, and helping my husband to transition, because now that I'm gone, he need to man the house. We still need to sell the house or make a transition to a smaller space to downsize. Whatever it is, he still need to maintain our home in Ontario. And I have to arrange a lot of stuff with him, even though he is very supportive. So all those arrangements caused complications in my plan. But all that happened. I did all my paperwork. I did all the necessary preparation. And that is the execution stage. So the framework, aspiration, my belief, my commitment, my designing of a plan, and the execution of my plan. It was an intense month of August. Every day I clean house, I took things to the Salvation Army for donation, I run errands, I said goodbye to families, I have a dim sum lunch, I have dinner, and all that, and do the paperwork of out-of-province transfer, everything like that, and in between. I was exhausted every night I went to bed in the month of August because I left in September. Now, during the last night, I set my alarm clock. I didn't sleep until 2 a.m. And then, all of a sudden I woke up. It was 1 hour later than I supposed to be. And somehow the alarm clock didn't work, or I didn't set it. I don't know what. But I was overslept for 1 hour. I had 5 minutes to get ready and out the door. My husband drove me to the airport, supposed to be there at 6, but I ended up at 7. I made the flight, and here I am. Settled down in Squamish, British Columbia, such a beautiful place, 9 months later. Settling in Squamish. Squamish in British Columbia, it has a name. It is the outdoor capital of Canada. You have to come to see it to believe it. I felt a deep connection to the land. The view of the mountain, they call it the Chief, Squamish Chief. There's a big mountain, and just when I go downstairs to my apartment, the estuary trail is just a few steps away. And I learned about the history, the 9,000 plus years history of the Squamish Nation right here in this space. And I appreciated the deep cultural significance of every mountain, every river, and every inlet. There's so much to learn about this place. And I get a chance to embrace the community. Embrace the community means that, well, I'm living very lightly. I get to protect the beautiful place. I embrace slow living. And I am also well aware of the ecological beauty of this place and respect the indigenous presence. You cannot help but just respect this when you look around and see the beautiful nature and all the abundance that the nature provides. What I'm sharing with you is my lessons learned in the past 9 months from this experience of taking this giant leap from Toronto to Vancouver. Now, what else did I find? Well, because I'm continuing my thesis, my dissertation, I have finished my final draft, and the name of the dissertation is called Dwelling Deeply with Less. I discovered the world of minimalism. I realized that living the fullest of life is not about having more. It's about embracing less and consuming less and being very intentional and purposeful in everything that I do, I purchase, as well as maybe everything that I commit myself to do. The other thing that I learned is I continue my professional growth. And the world of project management has bounds and leaps. And the way that we use software, the ways we embrace technology, it is very helpful in many ways, and it's very daunting. Because just to keep up, just to know what is suitable, what you should ignore, it is more art than science. Anyway, by having a job, I get to learn new things on the job about the organization, and I have interaction with coworkers. I got to learn about their lives, their journey. It is amazing. And even though I live in Squamish, I travel to Vancouver 2 days a week, and I got to see the city, and I make those connections as well. And I cannot forget the dark side of the Vancouver city, where the social issues are. But that kept me be on the alert to think about the inequality of this world. And living a fullest of life, it does not only mean my own well-being, but is the fellow human being on this planet. I like to achieve global flourishing rather than just seeing myself living the best life. Now, what else I learned is about dreams. Dreams do come true. I was inspired by the author, Paulo Coelho. He wrote The Alchemist, and I love that book. He said many things in there that resonated with me. It's a very thin book, and you can check it out, The Alchemist. He said, "It's the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting." I say yes to that. And then he said, "When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it." So true. It seems like there's a force that is helping you to get there, but you require those ABCDE, because if you don't have a dream, you don't set a goal in front of you, you don't set a destination, even though you may not get there, even though you may have detour, you pretty much, how can the universe help you? How can other people assist you along the way? That's why you need those ABCD. And give yourself permission to dream and take that leap when you are ready. I promise you, I give you a special message at the end. The message comprises of a few questions. Now it is your turn. Would you think about what is holding you back from taking that leap if you're feeling stuck? What is it that is holding you back? What is the biggest obstacle that you're facing right now? And after you thought about the biggest obstacle, name it. Put it in front of you. Write it down or type it up. Look at that biggest obstacle and ask yourself, how do I break through this? Can I work around it? Can I ask for assistance? Can I learn something to overcome this obstacle? I'm not saying that will be easy, but you have to name those obstacles and try to find ways to mitigate. And ask yourself, what small steps can I take? Or what small steps can you take today towards your own leap? Thank you for listening to me. I would share more next time, and this will unpack more about my journey in Squamish. October 5th, 2024. 9,000 years ago, keepers of this land developed it, preserved it, kept it, and we still have such a beautiful place to enjoy. We're thankful for how this land is kept. We are thankful for all the resources, this beauty, the changing of the leaves. The mountain is trying to speak to us. The majestic, they are tall. They are resourceful. And the birds, don't know how to name them. They're here. The clouds are receding, making way for the sun. I want to wish you a very good day. Take a pause. Think about what you could be doing, what your plans are, and pave a way so that you can get there. You've got what it takes.